Yeah, thanks, Leroy. Keep your questions coming in for myself and Karen, and for Leroy. We'll do our best to answer as many as we possibly can. Let's get straight to it. The Manchester derby, another big win for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this particular fixture. Is that by design or by default, do you think, for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I think he went back to his tactics book and saw what worked, but no, I think he would have considered it. You know, if we look at it and we're going to review it, it's the counter-attacking performance that's needed against this Manchester City side. Everyone in there is pace and they know what they're doing. So I think he would have looked back and saw the success.
Away games at the big sides.
Absolutely. I think the back four have really cemented that. But in front of them, you've got Fred and McTominay, who really add that defensive stability. And it just allows then the front four to go and express themselves with pace because they've got the solidity behind them.
Interesting. I know City had a big gap between themselves and United, and perhaps played way of playing. He had Rodri and Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne pushing on. A bit more adventurous.
Yeah, a little bit more. You know, Manchester City were hot in form, so they probably were like, let's just keep doing what we're doing. But I did think it left Rodrigo exposed, especially with the pace of Manchester United. I think Pep Guardiola would have known that, and I think Rodri got left isolated at times, and I think Manchester United punished them. Yeah,
and what United did was get on the front foot right from the off. That first 5 minutes, they were really impressive. I think a lot of the time we talked about United perhaps being very deep in this particular type of fixture, away against one of the big boys, but they squeezed on. And straight away, I just want to highlight Harry Maguire, how tight he is with Gabriel Jesus. Man City have the throw-in, we'll play it on. It's Maguire goes all the way in with Jesus. I'm highlighting that simply because it's his mistake now, Gabriel Jesus. And watch him. What does he do? This is the first couple of minutes. He's tracking back, trying to atone for his mistake, wasn't he? Play it slowly. Watch what he does. He dangles a leg and gives away a penalty. It's the earliest they've ever conceded at home in the Premier League, this. It's quite frightening, really, wasn't it? But it was a really good start from United, wasn't it?
It's a common theme, you know. I think James is really, really key in that pressing. As a winger, you actually have to double press, and that means you've got the full-back and the centre-half in this instance. So keep pressing and pressing. He's forcing them back the whole time, and you're right, if you pause it there, look at where the back four of Manchester United are. Usually we're seeing them 10 yards further back.
Yeah.
But in this instance, they're squeezing the pitch, they're condensing it.
They're willing to give up that space in behind them.
They're quite happy to go, you know what, Wan-Bissaka, I fancy you against Sterling. We're not concerned about that. We're in good shape. So now let's be front-footed, aggressive, as you said, and we're going to win it higher and closer to the goal. And it was just brilliant from them, reading the situation.
And look, City get out. They're good enough to do that on occasions, aren't they? You know, they're trying to play out, but United were trying to squeeze and try and win it higher up the pitch.
I think, you know, when you give good players time on the ball, they're excellent players then. But regardless of whether it's Manchester City or whoever, you can't give them the time on the ball, and they've got in people's faces, and it just makes it difficult. Look, pressing, pushing them back the whole time, and as soon as a pass is back, that's a negative pass. That's a cue. We squeeze the pitch, we condense it.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, he knows that the ball's going to go back to the goalkeeper, and Bruno Fernandes, he's ready to go. Go on, can I go and squeeze? Can I go and get tight to that goalkeeper? Make him kick long.
As well, you can take the risk. Why? Because you're how far away from your own goal. But you can afford to take risk and go, we're going to press, we're going to press. Again, look how high they are. They're all in the half, which is exactly what you want.
But they've done what they wanted to do. This is the first bit of it from Man City's point of view. They have got past that press now, haven't they? And we play it on. But they quickly get across. Look, McTominay gets across. Wan-Bissaka gets tight to Raheem Sterling. Not allowing him to turn. McTominay gets across and helps. And then they play. And what about this from Fred? I mean, there's three men around him. He's fighting, he's scrapping, he's kicking, he's won the ball back. And then not just that, he backs it up. Watch him again now. Kevin De Bruyne trying to pick it up. Little square ball.
But Fred and McTominay are absolutely brilliant at reading situations.
In a derby, no fans. How important is it for a team to start as quickly as that?
You have to set the tone. Straight away, you're going, right, we're going to be the dominant team. We're going to put you under pressure. We will show our intent. And that's what Manchester United did, and they've been brilliant away from home. But I think it's about the defensive structure, the 4 and the 2. brilliant, and then the rest of them go and press and win the ball.
I wonder whether United were aware of it or not, but Man City struggle when they go behind in games. When they've done that, they've not been able to respond. Let's have a look at this. It's the last time they won a game when conceding first was back in December 2019 against Leicester City. This season, they've gone behind 4 times. They've ended up drawing 2 against West Ham and Liverpool and lost 2 against Tottenham and Man United. So it's a long time, isn't it, since Man City... it's not, they don't go behind very often in games. But when they have done it, they've not particularly responded well. 6 defeats in 9 when they've gone behind first.
Look, it's a stat you can't ignore. And if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm saying we take the lead. The first goal was the most important one, and this is the evidence as why. And again, credit to them. You know, they were, as you said, front-footed, aggressive. It's a derby. We want to win this. And they executed the game plan superbly.
You talked about it. They wanted pace on the break, the likes of Dan James, Martial, Rashford. Let's go to it. Let's have a look at United on the break and have a look at some of their... when they do go forward. And the numbers that they get forward as well. I think United... You know, times when they've played like this, they've not really necessarily got the numbers in forward positions. But I think against City, they really went at them and got bodies into advanced positions. If I just pause it here, look at the numbers that United have got now. There's 5 players, and you've also got McTominay looking to make a run as well. So you've got Fred forward, McTominay looking to go forward. They were quite happy to throw bodies into advanced positions.
Well, I think even if you pause it there...
Take that back, yeah.
I think if you look at in terms of a defensive structure, you pause it there, they've only got 1 threat to the back line. So actually, and it's a 3v1, so yeah, if I'm Harry Maguire, I'm encouraging my players to go on attack because I'm confident I can deal with this situation here. And the best form of defence is attack. And you know what? Do the Manchester City players want to be running back towards their own goal? Absolutely not. So make sure that you do it. And the Man United way, which got them so much success in the 90s, was front-footed. We're going to run people into the ground towards their own goal. And this is exactly what they did. And
actually, a little bit more care from Bruno Fernandes, and he gets McTominay in.
Yeah.
It's actually a mishit pass, isn't it? Because actually, he was onto the front foot and he probably should have got in. Again, looking to break forward. I'll just highlight this here as well, because this is intelligence as well from Fred. Just filling in at left-back. Recognises that it's Luke Shaw on the counter. He's looking to break forward. He's looking to get into those types of positions. But I'll tell you what, that's no problem, because he's got into midfield. I'll just fill in at left-back for him. I'll tell you what United did as well. A lot of teams do it, actually. It's defend with 5 and attack with 5.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw in this game. Look, there's your 5 attackers, and there's your 5 defenders. And obviously Fred, as I say, sitting in for Luke Shaw. Big gap in the middle, which McTominay's trying to fill, but they getting enough bodies into the box. Martial should do a little bit better, shouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he should. It's just the intent, and I spoke about it with you on the last show, how difficult it is as an attacking player when you're so deep to press, to run at big distances. But that's the commitment and the desire, because they know the game plan that's going to work. Everyone's so deep, but yet they can turn a defensive responsibility that's required into an attacking situation, and it's brilliant.
Well, you say everyone's so deep. I think all 11 players there within, what, 30 yards of their own goal. But watch the transition. Win the ball, get a first pass in, that's important.
We used to do it in training, Matt, where you would be given a certain time to get from the 18-yard box to the other 18-yard box. And this would be something they do in training. I want my attacking 5, as you said. There they are
again, 5 again.
I want us in the opposition 18-yard box within 6 seconds. It's doable. And the defensive structure behind, 5 again, doesn't change. It's a 5v5 principle. It's a training exercise, really. And Manchester United were fantastic. But you have to highlight Dan James, you know, Green, people that have the ability to run with the ball at pace.
Yeah.
Ball travellers in this type of game are so key. You know, breaking out at large distances. Go on, I'm on my own. How can I win something? Get past someone, keep the ball, and
be space for him to run into, and he's got that ability to do it, hasn't he? He does like Dan James in these games.
Yeah, and to be fair, Dan James has done really well over the last month, and we spoke earlier about Park that played for Manchester United in specific games when they're required to do specific stuff, and Dan James is no different. But in terms of space and counter-attack and being required to dribble, I don't think there's a better dribbler probably in that squad than Dan James. Is a natural winger. He can carry the ball in transition at large distances, which is what the game plan required.
Has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got a decision to make now in terms of his goalkeeper? Dean Henderson's come into the team, last couple of games in the Premier League, couple of clean sheets. Let's compare the two. De Gea obviously played almost double the games that Henderson has. Expected goals, this is very interesting. He's expected David De Gea to have conceded, for the chances that the opposition teams have created, almost 33 goals. He's actually conceded 37, so that's 4 more than he should have conceded. On the other flip side, Dean Henderson, expected goals, just 11.3, actually only conceded 9. So he's actually conceding less than he should be in terms of the expected goals. And I think the two at the bottom really stand out as well, don't they? Save percentage, Dean Henderson much higher than David De Gea, and clean sheets as well. In half the games, 9 clean sheets compared to David De Gea's 10.
I'm a massive fan of Henderson, I really am. And I think people go on about Sheffield United in terms of losing their defenders and their run of form. But for me, it was about Henderson. They lost him. And you see the impact of losing him on that side alone. I think Solskjaer's defence is doing well with it. The stats are backing it up. He's gone there to prove a point, and he's doing it.
He'd be within his rights, though, wouldn't he, to say, hang on a minute, you know, I've played a couple of games now in the Premier League, back-to-back, 2 clean sheets, one of those in a derby as well, under severe pressure, you know, against Man City. He'd be well within his rights to say to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, hang on a minute, I should be in goal. He shouldn't be coming straight back into the team when I've come into the side and done a good job.
Well, it's not. I get your point, because it's no different to a striker scoring a couple of goals and then being taken out. You go to the manager, you knock on the door, why am I being left out of the team? But goalkeeping is a specialised position. And like I said, I think Solskjaer is very loyal. And I think he said at the start of the season, De Gea is my #1. I think he will stick with that. But this Henderson is the long-term #1 for Manchester United. It's just when that happens.
He was heavily involved as well, wasn't he, for the second goal that United scored. They started the game brightly. They started the second half brightly as well, United. A City free kick, comfortable catch, assesses his options. Should just highlight this as well. John Stones, who's got himself into the goal here. That's him inside the goal. I should just highlight that for something that happens a little bit later in this.
Yeah.
But Dean Henderson's waiting, he's waiting. What's on? I guess he's got a couple of options. He could find Bruno Fernandes in this position. He's waiting, though. He could just play out to one of his centre-backs, no problem at all. He's full-back. But he waits. And eventually, he wants to get United on the front foot, really, doesn't he? And again, I'm just going to highlight this, because United did this quite a bit in the game. 2v1 situations against the full-back. Now, John Stones has actually got himself back into position now. But Cancelo, for a minute, I think, was a little bit worried about that. But United did develop 2v1s quite a bit, didn't they? Yeah,
it was a common theme throughout the game. It was a clear area to exploit, and they really did it. I mean, Fernandes goes into that. He's a natural central player, and he goes out into those wide areas and the width as well from that side, on the left-hand side, which is where the goal came from. Clearly, you do want to exploit the full-backs of Manchester City, because they're fantastic, but it is their vulnerability in times.
I think if we look at the two full-backs as well, I think going forward, Shaw better than Wan-Bissaka as well. And so there's a slightly left-side bias in terms of the full-backs going forward. So they want Shaw to go forward. Yep. And as you say about Bruno, I think that's interesting as well, because he could quite easily just stand in there and be marked.
You always say, go and cause the defenders a problem, go and ask them a question, panicking, going, I'm 2v1'd here. I think it's because Henderson's right-handed, he's going to throw it out to the left-hand side more naturally. So Zinchenko's actually thinking, thank goodness for that. But it was a clear area. There's no point condensing the centre of the pitch. If you lose it, you counter-attack more vulnerable. But these are the areas, the two wide areas, where you can really get joy against City, because Zinchenko's not a left-back, and Cancelo as well. He's so attacking-minded, he's going to vacate spaces, so it's just as and when you can exploit that.
You talk about panic. Let's look at Cancelo. If I just take it back slightly before he throws this, because he's in a good position, really, to deal with this man here. But he gets caught in two minds. Should he go to Luke Shaw? Should he not go to Luke Shaw? Play it on slowly. And you just watch him. He makes a really bad decision. He's thinking, should I go? No, I'll put the brakes on. I should actually stay. Oh, no, I will go, because I think I now might get there. By the time he's done that, he gets beaten easily by Luke Shaw, and United are away.
It's just that's just the margins. And I think you again have to applaud the throw from Henderson, where as a player, the pass makes up your mind and it's a throw and it kind of sets Luke Shaw on his way with momentum. It's in front of him and he can take that touch. But you're right, the defending, the decision-making from Cancelo to go, actually, I don't need to go and win it. Then they're 15 yards off the halfway line. I'm going to keep my eye on my wide player and allow Shaw to have the option to make the decision. And just that split second of indecisive manner that he made cost the team.
Talk to me about Luke Shaw then, because for me, probably the best left-back in the league this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, we're aware of the situation that he had previously under the previous manager, and that caused him to be perhaps struggle hard, get your head down and graft and have someone that puts an arm around you, shows you a bit of love.